Hey friend, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Today we're going to be working on my dining room and getting my mantle and everything all ready for fall. I'm so excited to be decorating this area for fall this year. Since we've moved into this house, this has always been an area that I have struggled with to get just the way I want it. My husband did a lovely job at making this area over for me last year, but it wasn't quite in time for fall decorating. It took me some time to figure out what picture I wanted up here and what exactly I wanted to do. I knew I wanted it to just look like fall. So we got this picture hung, and I actually realized I wasn't recording when we did that. But I got this picture hung and put a little vine around it from Hobby Lobby and decided to add those falling leaves. I thought that added the perfect touch. Those also came from Hobby Lobby. They have them in a pack of just loose leaves, and I've actually got a couple of other DIYs that I'll be using them for in coming videos. Then it was time to try to figure out what I wanted to go on the mantle itself. I had a small garland that I'd used in years past in my living room, but it really wasn't as full as I was wanting for this area. So I decided to dig into my florals and my picks and see what I could come up with to fill this out and make it something that would look beautiful in this area. What is it that gets you in the mood to start decorating for fall? For me, it's not just the weather, but it's also just pulling out my decor and looking at all the beautiful colors. I also love fixing a nice, comforting meal. As you can see, I'm just be sure picking and placing these the video where I will be sharing florals, my little loose florals and leftover florals that I've had from years past in various places until I get it just the way I want it. This was quite a tedious process, I must say. I wish that it had went as fast as this video is showing. But the end result was definitely worth it. One tip that I would give during your decorating is make sure that you have different little sized command hooks handy, as well as something to tie with. I was using floral wire, and at one point I even grabbed a piece of twine to secure a branch that was being particularly stubborn. I try to keep all of my craft supplies in a bin handy and some small hardware, just floral cutters, things that I might need while I am decorating so that they're handy and I don't have to search all over the place for them. Have you started decorating for fall yet? I know it's a bit early for a lot of people, but something about this time of year just brings me so much joy, and I love the coziness that it adds to my home. Leave me a comment below and let me know when you start decorating. Do you do it in August like me, or do you wait until closer to the actual fall season? Once I got everything looking the way that I wanted, of course I had to add some fairy lights. I love having lights and just that added glow to make the room look more cozy. And then it was time to finish off the mantle. I had just thrifted, or I should say yard sale, that pumpkin earlier that morning. I was excited for that little find. One of my neighbors was having a yard sale, and I actually got that and a second pumpkin just like it, along with a small box full of fall decor for $4. Everything still had the price tag on it from Hobby Lobby even. This is definitely a good time of year to check out some yard sales and the thrift store for the fall decorations. And then here is the final product. I threw in some little flowers and just leaves of all different colors. I found this little scarecrow last year at Home Goods, and I went out earlier this week looking for a couple of more, but didn't see any that really fit with these that I bought last year. So I'll be keeping my eye out for those. I really love how this area came together. The next day, it was time to tackle these little inset areas. I really had no idea what I was going to do here, but I knew I wanted to make it cohesive with the mantle area. So I just got everything cleared off and cleaned off and got to work rearranging things and just kind of mixing and matching to see what I wanted to go where. I decided I wanted to put my canisters over here on this area to make some more room on my kitchen counter. I need this area over here to serve as an extension of my kitchen and be functional as well as pretty. So I decided to tie in the decor a little bit. I would use some ribbon that I had left over from last year and tie it around my canisters. I had originally planned on putting that pumpkin picture in my living room, but I thought it would look really cute here and it fit perfectly. So then again, I hit my floral bucket and just started throwing in some florals into this little vase that I got from Hobby Lobby last year and ended up with a really cute arrangement. Sometimes you just have to play around with it for a little while to figure out what look you're going for, and sometimes you end up surprising yourself. I thought that cute little leaf from the Dollar Tree added a nice little touch to the pumpkin picture. And as you can see, I was really struggling with the pumpkin sweater sign that I had. I had no clue what to do with it, but I finally figured it out. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am so excited to be sharing my home this year, and I'm really looking forward to sharing some crafting and DIYing and recipes throughout this next season. If that's something that you enjoy, I would love if you would subscribe to the channel and share with me your decor and your ideas. I love getting inspiration from others and inspiring others. So if that's something you're interested in, I would love to have you be part of my YouTube family. And while I know the cookie jar does not necessarily match the color scheme, this will always be something that is up in my kitchen, no matter the season. It was a gift to my mom from one of her best friends probably 30 years ago. And I really just love having it in my kitchen. So here was the final look for this side of the mantle. I love the way that it came out, and I probably will add some kind of light over here at some point. We really want to get some little recessed lights to go in the ceiling to brighten this space up, but for now, I'm in love with it. It really looks like this part of the house is starting to come together. So now it's time to tackle the other side. And by this point, I was really breaking a sweat, I have to say. I had not really planned on having this much space to decorate. As I said, in years past, I've just kind of left this space open. So I was pulling decor from other parts of the house or that I designated last year for other parts of the house, and trying to figure out how to make it work in here. We also have our Wi-Fi router in here so that we get good signal throughout the house. So this was a challenge to try to hide the wires and the router itself. I think I ended up figuring it out. It definitely took some rearranging a few times to get it the way that I wanted it. And again, I'm just grabbing some leftover florals from my floral bucket and trying to put something together that will tie in with the rest of the area. I messed around with this for quite a while, trying to get it to look just the way that I wanted it. For the vase for this, I'm just using an old mason jar that originally was a candle. Once the candle burned down, I cleaned it out and loved the way that it looked so much that I decided to keep it and use it for decor. And then I finally figured it out. I found just one rust-colored eucalyptus stem in my stash and decided that that was the perfect way to tie it into the area. I also switched out the cozy sign that I had because the colors really made it difficult to see the word cozy. And this is how this area turned out. It's simple, but also just so adorable, and again, tied in so well with the rest of the area. So with this all being done, now it's just time to get my table ready, and this was super easy. All I planned on doing here was my table runner, which I've had for the last 4 or 5 years, and I had already dumped out some of my leftover pumpkins into this dough bowl that I got last year at Hobby Lobby, added a couple of candle holders, and it was good to go. Again, super simple, but also just really brought this area together. And here is the final look of the dining room. I love it. It turned out so nice and cozy, and I love just lighting the candles and enjoying this, especially when we have dinner and in the evening. And really getting into the fall spirit of things. Earlier in the day, I had decided to put on a Crockpot meal, some chicken pot pie. We like to use these Cheddar Bay biscuits for our chicken and dumplings, and this came together so quickly and so easily. So I'm just adding in my cream of chicken soup. I will have the recipe for this in the description. This particular day, I knew I didn't really have enough time for my chicken to cook, so I had some pre-cooked shredded chicken already in my refrigerator that I decided to throw in here. So then I'm just adding all of my seasonings and getting it all ready to go. Do you have a favorite recipe or a go-to recipe that you like for busy days? I have really started utilizing my Crockpot more lately, and it makes things so much easier when it comes time for dinner. This looked so good, and I was so excited to eat it. And the smell, it just made the house start to smell like fall. So while the crock pot was finishing up, I'd say we were probably about 30 minutes away from being done. I went ahead and fixed the biscuits. We like to shred our own cheese, and I don't know who enjoys it more, me or the dogs. They always get their little share of the cheese, as you'll see here. And of course, you have to pay the cheese tax. Oh, who got it? Here, Fifi. Sandy. So polite. She's so polite. Oh, gotta love the cheese tax. So once I got all of that cleaned up and the last of my cheese shredded and everything put away, it was time to mix up my biscuits. And these are honestly the easiest biscuits to make. While I love my scratch-made biscuits, just throwing in the mix, adding 3/4 of a cup of water and your cheese, and throwing them in the oven makes it super easy and adds the perfect touch for a nice cozy meal. Aside from the cheese, I think this might be the best part, the butter and herb mix. These just turn out so nice and fluffy, and they're so good when you eat them warm out of the oven. And this was the end result of our chicken pot pie. We just topped it with the biscuits, and this was absolutely delicious. This will be a staple for us this fall, and it was such a nice way to end the day of decorating. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed this video and that you found some inspiration.